Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, building experiences that connect, remove friction, and deliver insights. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Brian Kelly. Brian is the managing partner of cost management services, iRecruit. He has over 25 years of experience in human resources software and the tax credit industry. CMS originally sold HR software and work opportunity tax credit screening, and to develop iRecruit for Sage HRMS customers to meet the need to automate and streamline their recruiting, applicant tracking, and electronic onboarding operations. Brian has a BS in finance from the University of Central Connecticut. CMS is a member of the Society for Human Resource Management, and in his spare time, Brian plays and coaches ice hockey and is an avid golfer and boater. Welcome back, I should say, to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Brian Kelly.
Well, thank you, Ed. Great to be with you this morning.
Well, first off, why do you do what you do?
Well, we love what we do. And basically, I've always wanted to be in business. And what's a better way to be in business, be your own entrepreneur and provide tools for clients to be successful. And I'm not just saying that as an acronym. We really truly care about saving clients money and helping them make money. And that's our objective.
So talk to me a little bit about WOTC, which is Work Opportunity Tax Credits. Fun acronym.
Well, you never heard of WOTC yet. You haven't heard of WOTC before?
I probably have, but educate me.
Well, WOTC is a unique or a boutique tax credit that's been in legislation going back to the Reagan administration back in 1981. And it's been basically adopted throughout those years with different legislation. But the whole function of WOTC, Work Opportunity Tax Credits, is to give employers an incentive for bringing people into the workforce and keeping them in the workforce. So we help clients get tax credits by hiring these respectable people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. So talk to me a little bit more about what the specific opportunity is, and what types of organizations can take advantage of this.
Yeah, great question. So what tax credits can't be received is nonprofits or municipalities because they don't pay corporate taxes. But anybody who's a C Corp, LLC, S Corp, that company can utilize the tax credits against their federal corporate returns. And everybody loves saving money and not having to pay corporate taxes. So it's a very welcoming experience for the client.
And are people mostly not aware that these exist? Is that really the situation?
It really is. It's an obscure tax credit. Interesting enough, I do a lot of conferences with CPA firms, and I'll ask them if they know what WOTC is. I bet I only get 10 hands out of 50 people. And the reason being, it's truly obscure. And it's a pain in the neck. I was going to use a different word, Ed, to obtain these tax credits. So what we have to do is we have to screen every employee that a company hires to determine if they're eligible for one out of the 10 categories there are. And one of the categories that is SNAPs, food stamps, basically. If an employee has food stamps, by bringing them into the workforce, they can get tax credits for getting that guy in the workforce or gal in the workforce.
And there, I imagine, lots of different categories that people aren't aware that they could possibly qualify for.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, the other one big category that is hiring vets. The Vow to Hire Heroes program, which is bringing military folks back into the workforce. So that's one of the bigger programs that's going on right now.
And when you take advantage of these, is the paperwork really difficult and challenging to do? Is that why it's about, and that's what your software helps in doing?
Yes and no. A lot of it is employers don't want to ask the sensitive questions to obtain the tax credit. As an employer, you don't necessarily want to ask somebody if they're on SNAP or not. So having a third-party service like CMS that can handle those questions and answer them, for the employee makes it a lot easier. Matter of fact, we actually start out by telling the employee that their employer is taking advantage of a federal tax credit program that's going to initiate jobs. And by doing that, we really gain a better percentage.
Okay, and then that way it removes the employer, because I would think that even some people think that those questions are off the table and illegal in some ways.
And most of our HR folks would say that and not to go near it. But it's actually in the IRS legislation for the 8850 form, it actually shows that you can actually pre-screen employees and determine which ones are eligible for federal tax credits and hire those people over other people. And that's in the IRS language. So it allows you to discriminate, theoretically.
As long as you're making that opportunity available to every applicant, I would imagine.
That's correct. Consistency is the key.
And Brian, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
Well, with the Vow to Hero Highs program, I would say one of them. But in all seriousness, if I internalize that question, and I get that once in a while, I don't think it's a person or a thing. I think it's actually by bringing up by my three uncles that gave us kind of that entrepreneurial spirit. So my heroes are part of my family.
And lastly, Brian, how can somebody contact you?
Give us a call, 1-800-517-9099.
All right, Brian Kelly, Managing Partner of Cost Management Services, iRecruit. Thanks so much for being a guest once again on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ed.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.